to witness the signing ceremony of a number of agreements in various domains. During this visit, Hollande will attend a parliamentary session and is expected to give a speech to lawmakers, and he will have a tour in the Parliament's historical building and museum. More details in this report.
The Egyptian-French political relations are multi-pivoted, and their cooperation in various fields is one of the best examples of the Egyptian relations with other EU countries. The relations between the two countries went to a new outstanding and distinguished level since President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi took office. In July 2014, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received the French parliamentary delegation for talks on bilateral relations. The delegation underscored the importance of further fostering bilateral relations, especially with the security challenges facing the region. In November 2014, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi visited France, where he held summit talks with French President François Hollande at the Élysée Palace to boost bilateral relations and discuss political issues of mutual concern. This meeting was followed by another meeting with the head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the French Parliament, Elisabeth Gigot. In February 2015, the President held another round of talks with Elisabeth Gigot, who was on an official visit to Cairo. The two sides discussed the latest developments in Egypt and the completion of the roadmap, as well as bolstering cooperation between the two countries. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi also received an invitation in October 2015 from his French counterpart to take part in the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Paris, which was slated for December 2015. The invitation was delivered by visiting French Prime Minister Manuel Valls. During the French Premier's visit, el-Sisi and Valls stressed the deeply rooted political relations binding Egypt and France, which have recently witnessed a great momentum. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi also discussed with Valls regional political issues, especially the Syrian and Lebanon crises. On the diplomatic level, in September 2015, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry chaired Egypt's delegation to the International Conference on the Victims of Attacks and Abuse on Ethnic or Religious Grounds in Paris. On the sidelines of the visit, Shoukry met with his French counterpart Laurent Fabius in Paris. The meeting focused on bilateral relations in various fields, as well as regional files, especially the Middle East peace process. The meeting also included counter-terrorism efforts and the need to unify the international community's efforts and strengthen cooperation in this regard. Earlier in June 2015, Shoukry also met with his French counterpart. The meeting took up bilateral relations and regional and international issues of mutual concern. French Ambassador in Cairo, André Parent, said that France's relations with Egypt greatly developed, especially after President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's visit to Paris, which was followed by mutual visits to discuss ways of pushing cooperation in various fields.
And to shed more light on the French President's current visit to Egypt, we are joined now over the phone by Ambassador Dr. Ali Al-Hifni, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good day to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Ambassador, French President François Hollande pays an official visit to Egypt, a very important visit. In your opinion, what is the significance of this visit now?
You see, the relations that exist between Egypt and France are very particular. They have been this way for a long time. Now, President Hollande is paying an official visit in return to the visit that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has paid to France earlier. They have met on several occasions. You do recall that President Hollande was one of the participants among the most important dignitaries that have attended the ceremony of the inauguration of the new Suez Canal.
Yes.
And President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has visited France in December last to attend the World Summit for the climate change. But they are in constant contact. They have so many issues that they are always keen to discuss together, be it with regard to the bilateral relations and the interest and the efforts of the two countries to push them and boost them further, or with regard to the latest developments pertaining to the different issues in the Middle East, be it Syria or Iraq or Lebanon or Yemen or Libya and so on. Now, this bilateral visit is very important because the President is having an important delegation that will include 60 the CEOs and the representatives of 60 French enterprises. So it does the interest of France to invest more in Egypt, especially that Egypt provides a good opportunity for those French enterprises to come and invest in the different projects that we have prepared very well and we have put them for the attention of those enterprises so that they could come and invest and make good gains out of the investments in such projects.
Okay.
So in fact,
yes,
there will be an important number of deals and agreements that are going to be signed, and in different fields like energy or infrastructure, tourism, culture, and so on. So from this point of view, exactly and specifically, the visit is very important for Egypt as it is for France.
Okay. Mr. Ambassador, both Egypt and France have been subject to terrorist attacks, and I believe on top of the agenda of the talks of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi with President François Hollande would be means of combating terrorism and enhancing military cooperation. What is your take in this regard?
We have followed closely the development of the military cooperation between Egypt and France lately. Talking about the Rafale deal, talking about the two carriers of helicopters, the Mistral that we are going to get from France, among other deals. Now, as far as the combating terrorism, of course, the two countries, they are on the same wavelength, and they have responsibilities out of their current membership at the Security Council, France being a permanent and Egypt being a non-permanent for 2 years member or a member of the Security Council. Yes. So of course, combating terrorism will be on the top on the agenda of the two leaders. Also, I would like to refer to the French initiative as far as hosting an international conference on the Palestinian question in France, and you do recall that we have received about 10 days ago, a couple of weeks ago, here in Cairo, the French special envoy for the Middle Eastern affairs. And there was a talk about how to develop that idea and how to get the consent of Israelis, Palestinians, among other parties that will be invited to such conference, which is still under scrutiny and examination. So this is, again, another important issue, because if it will mean anything, it will mean that we are going to revive again the long-awaited negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians that were halted because of the Israeli practices in the Palestinian occupied territory, yes, and then a refusal to show any positive attitude with regard to the return to the table of negotiations. So again, this is one of the important issues that will be a matter of discussion between the two leaders.
Okay. Mr. Ambassador, finally, of course, on top of the agenda of the talks between both presidents would be means of enhancing political, economic, and cultural cooperation, of course, in addition to the military cooperation that we've talked about already. But apart from all that, President François Hollande is expected to visit the Egyptian parliament and address lawmakers. In your own opinion, how important is this visit to the parliament, and what would be the main highlights of this talk to the Egyptian lawmakers?
If it will materialize, that will be a very important development. It will be the first time any French president will address our parliament, the new parliament that has resulted out of free and fair elections that we had at the end of the last year. So I believe that the French president will stress the importance of the economic development in Egypt in the coming periods, and the readiness of France to come in the assistance of Egypt in so many ways and so many fields to assist regions to achieve their goals in having a sustainable development and to achieve their agenda for development for the years 2015-2030. Of course, he will be talking about the situation in the region and the importance to give a push to the attempts internationally through the United Nations system or through the American-Russian dialogue, or the role that is played by the European Union as far as looking for peaceful settlement of the different and the many crises that we are witnessing nowadays in our region. Of course, he will be tackling also, in my opinion, the issue of terrorism and the importance to cooperate between the two countries, and also to cooperate at the regional level. It's not just the responsibility of the international community, but mainly the regions, be it within an Arab context or within African context, or even the OIC context.
Ambassador Ali Al-Hifni, former assistant to the foreign minister, thank you very much for your intake regarding President François Hollande's visit to Egypt. Thank you very much. And moving on, during the French president's visit to Egypt, military agreements are expected to be signed between the two countries. And more on the Egyptian-French military cooperation in this report.
In an era when most of the world seems to be in constant battles, Egypt and France have not only continued their old military relations, but have strengthened it too. The military relations between the two countries went to a new level of cooperation since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took office. In November 2014, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held talks with French Defense Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian at the headquarters of the French Defense Ministry to discuss military cooperation between the two countries. The meeting tackled ways of promoting military cooperation between Egypt and France, as well as the latest developments in the Middle East. Following the talks, a lengthy meeting was held in the presence of members of the Egyptian delegation and senior French military commanders. In July 2015, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with French Defense Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian in Cairo. The meeting tackled regional and international issues of mutual concern and the latest challenges in the region, including combating terrorism. In February 2015, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi attended the signing ceremony of a number of military agreements in the field of armament between the Egyptian and the French sides. Under this agreement, France will supply Egypt with 24 Rafale multitasking fighter jets and a Afghan frigate, as well as supply the Egyptian armed forces with arms and ammunition needed for the aircraft and the frigate. In October 2015, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi witnessed the signing ceremony of the contract for the purchase of 2 Mistral helicopter carriers.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met on Sunday with German Economy Minister Sigmar Gabriel. The German economic delegation, headed by the German Economy Minister, held talks on Sunday with Egyptian officials. The talks focus on bolstering trade and economic cooperation between Egypt and Germany. The officials aim at introducing the investment opportunities in the mega projects in Egypt. The German Economy Minister arrived in Cairo on Saturday, heading a high-ranking economic delegation which includes 100 businessmen.